I've lived in Vermont all my life, and it's inspired me as a writer since I was a very young child. One of my favorite things about living here are the long winter days of gentle snowfall and writing or editing by the warm, crackling wood stove with a cup of coffee. But as romantic and idyllic as this life may seem, there are many hardships involved with living here in the mountains through these harsh winter months. The wood stove needs a lot of maintenance, cleaning, and fuel to keep it going through these long, dark days. The temperatures become extremely cold here in the winter, and it's not unusual for it to reach minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit during the night. This means that gathering wood is of vital importance, and it's not a chore to be taken lightly. Being a writer, I sit at my computer a lot, so I really enjoy doing physical labor and outdoor chores that require lots of movement to offset the days when I am sitting for many hours at a time. We recently had a massive load of local, sustainably sourced wood delivered to us. With how much snow we've been getting this winter, making sure we stacked this load quickly became a priority. It's important that the wood stays as dry as possible, or else it stays damp for a really long time and becomes much harder to burn. Look at it all! Ah, the smells so good. The day after the wood was delivered, I awoke to freshly fallen snow. The mountains and trees looked incredibly beautiful dusted in this fresh powder, but I was anxious to get the wood stacked before we got even more snow from the storm that was coming the next day. First things first, coffee. Although I've become a lot more mindful about my consumption of caffeine and have cut back a lot on the amount of coffee that I drink throughout the day, I still really enjoy the ritual of making a morning cup, especially on these cold winter days. I have a lot less energy during these winter months, and coffee helps me wake up a bit faster in the morning. I also take vitamin D and B12 supplements and drink lots of ginger tea and matcha to give me energy and support my immune system. After I finished making some fresh, fragrant coffee in my French press, I poured it into my clean canteen and headed out to the massive pile of logs to begin the long process of stacking and splitting. So we got a little bit of snow last night. Just enough to blanket this pile of wood a bit. And this morning I'm stacking and chopping all of this. I'll see how much I get done. Look at this piece of birch. Birches were always my favorite as a kid. I still love them so much. The tree's exterior just has so much character. I love all the different textures in the bark. I just think it's so cool looking. Oh, the coffee came out good. I'm gonna take a few more loads up to the pile for the wood stove, and then it's stacking for the rest of these. And I'll probably split some of them while I'm at it. But first, a little more coffee. This should be good for probably a week-ish, a little bit more maybe. Now to stack the rest of it. Do you guys want to see something super incredibly rare for this time of year? Blue sky! Look at how beautiful it is! It'll probably only last a couple hours, but there's actual sunlight! Yay! Pro tip though, the bottom is actually where you find the best kindling available. So I just took a bunch and there's still a bunch left over that I have to go through, but this stuff is like perfect for starting a fire. That's like exactly what you're looking for. So a ton of this is definitely gonna be saved. Birch bark is also great. If it's dry, this is a little damp. Look how pretty that is.
Look at that. So gorgeous. Never gets old. Splitting wood after you've already stacked the entire pile is probably the worst idea because I am pretty tired. Oops, that's my coffee. I'm so tired. Well, I finished with the stack and it's still a fairly reasonable time. I'm gonna definitely need to wash my gloves. These aren't really work gloves, but I was wearing them because it's like 30 degrees out, so I didn't really feel like wearing thin work gloves. I wanted something that would keep my hands a bit warmer, but the wood gets a bit dirty when you get down to the bottom of the pile. It's just full of wood chips. And this experience would not be complete without a few wood chips in my eyes. But all in all, a good time.
Living in the Vermont mountains during the winter months is no simple task. It takes a lot of planning, work, endurance, and quite a bit of creativity. The winter is long, cold, and unforgiving, the harshest time of year with many unpredictable twists and turns. But I love my home and the tired, heavy feeling that fills my bones after a long day of hard work. There's something that feels so good about that. It makes sitting down by the crackling fire each night all the more sweet. It causes me to be here, in this moment, in this season, gathering and storing and surviving alongside all the other creatures that call this place home. It's a beautiful part of life here in the mountains, with their many changing seasons.